Hi, and welcome to the very first episode of the High Functioning Slightly Faded podcast. I'm Julie, 25 years old. I'm a cardiac nurse from like the New England area, I guess. And I really don't have any business running a podcast by any means, but you know, my job's pretty hard, and when I'm not working, I don't really like to do much. So I kind of thought this would be a fun thing to do, at least through the summer, and then I guess see where that takes me. Um, my goal is to try to do an episode every week, and then hopefully some of my friends and stuff will want to come on, and hopefully people will enjoy this. I could talk to literally a brick wall, so hopefully that I don't run out of things to say somehow, some way. So I guess you can think of this show as like maybe like an escape where you can feel like you're like talking to your friend on the phone, or I think I'm pretty funny, so hopefully you get a laugh out of this. Probably going to talk about a lot of things like pop culture, probably beauty and fashion things, anything like a girl that's my age is kind of into, and maybe whatever else pops into my head. You pretty much get to experience my ADHD brain in real time. And will I take my Adderall this week? The world may never know. All right, let's get into it. So, I didn't really want to walk into this with no idea what to do because I'm talking to myself in my apartment while my boyfriend is sleeping for the night shift tonight. Um, but and I've never really used ChatGPT because, as my 23-year-old coworker told me when we went out as a group a couple weeks ago, he said, "Oh, you're 25. You're old as fuck." I was like, "Oh my god, don't tell that to my 27-year-old sister." I was like, "I'm not even old. Like, I don't think that. What the hell? Not that I even care. It's just like, damn, that was rude." But I did go through, pandemic college time. I graduated UMass Amherst in 2022. And, you know, there was a lot of shade thrown and a lot of talk about people are cheating online. You're going to get a pandemic doctor and they're going to fucking kill you on the table, whatever. People like, but the thing is, like, Chat GPT and like AI really wasn't I mean, obviously I know it existed. I'm not fucking stupid, but it wasn't really like a big thing in that way. Like, I never used Chat GPT at all until literally a couple weeks ago because, well, also side note, so if you've seen the show Silicon Valley, which actually shout out that show, great show, it's on Max, or HBO Max. I think they're going back to that. Who the fuck knows? Anyone remember HBO Go? Haha, And sorry, I'm getting distracted. But anyways, on Silicon Valley, there's this big thing where pretty much the premise of the show, if you haven't seen it, it's really good. You should check it out. But it's like these nerdy kind of guys, and they are starting their own website, and it's like some kind of computer program or website or something. I watched the show in senior year of college, so I don't remember the fine details. But and they like it'll like compress the data or something, and like I don't work in that industry, but I got it. I got the gist. And but the whole thing is that you think about it, like your computer. You know how it's not like the monitor; it's the like computer part, the box part. Anything that goes online needs to be stored on a server. That's why it's like when you're paying for iCloud storage, like through Apple and everything, or like the Google one. I do it. They're great. It's like I'm not gonna fucking buy a server and pay for that and deal with all that other shit and keep it cool and everything else. But you're renting server space, and they have in essentially Bitcoin, which is like the stupidest shit ever, is horrible for the environment. And as people buy into it and everything else, they have to get more and more servers that are literally just more and more computers that need to be running all the time that generate all this electricity and pollution and everything else, just to create this fake money. Like, so, anyways, going back to the Chat GPT and AI thing, that ever since I found that out, and like I'm not a perfect person, but like I do what I can where I can. Like I try to unsubscribe from emails, like chain emails and shit that like I don't want to be subscribed to anyways, but like just clogs up your inbox. And it's like it's easy to ignore it or send it to junk. But guys, if you unsubscribe yourself from that, like if you have time one day or you're sitting like on the subway or something and you have service, like go through, unsubscribe to a bunch of those junk emails. It's gonna empty up your inbox, which is awesome, and it can make like a little bit of a good green footprint or whatever. It's gonna improve your carbon footprint in the long run. But with that being said, for me to even give a fuck about shit like that, I'm sure you can understand why my brain is going to connect the whole server thing with, obviously, if AI is becoming bigger and more utilized, all of these AI programs need servers that need to be supported and everything else. So as a result, it will end up being pretty bad for the environment. But I'm not stupid. I obviously know that's the way we're going. I'm not going to be like, we're trying to do too many freaking like modern things and get away from what we're supposed to do as humans. Like I'm not like a geezer that's against electricity or anything like that. But you know what I mean? Like for things that aren't necessary, like if I don't need to be using something that like I could just like Google something instead of like Googling Chat GPT and then like typing things into it. I could just Google something and read an article that a human being looked through and read about and everything else and did the research for. But that being said, I did use ChatGPT a couple weeks ago because a lot of my coworkers that are like in school and stuff, or like one of them is like trying to pick out her outfit for a wedding, and so she was doing like the what is it, like the color season thing, and she was like, ChatGPT, here's some photos of me. What color should I wear that will look the best on me? And I actually kind of was like, I've never really used it, so I didn't know that much about it. That's pretty cool. That it does that. Obviously, like, I don't know if it'd be more reliable than like those people on Instagram that do it. I don't know. But you can do it on there, which is cool. But I used it because I was trying to figure out like how to save money and pretty much like pull money out of thin air. Because, I work hard as a nurse, and I will say our union, shout out our union reps, the Massachusetts Nurses Association, they're awesome. They did get us some more money, but at the same time, it's like when you're a nurse, you're not making good money on the inpatient setting until you've been working for a long time. And if you work on nights, you make good money, but the toll it takes on your body is awful. Like, I could not last on nights. I wasn't sleeping, I wasn't eating and everything. Like, I couldn't do it. Like, I wish I could because the money was so good, but I'm on the day shift grind. And, I don't, there's a lot of good things about day shift, and there's some that could be better, but I'll get into that another day. But I was just pretty much looking at, that's the only reason I used ChatGPT was for that. But then in preparation for all of this, I was kind of like, I guess I should not walk into this blindly and come up with some kind of outline, ChatGPT helped me come up with the name for the podcast, High Functioning, Slightly Faded, which works because I have pretty bad ADHD and I don't always take my meds for it, and I can be kind of hyper, but I get shit done. And then I also am usually slightly faded. Never at work, this disclaimer, I would never, ever, ever, ever do that. I'm too much of an anxiety case and a basket case. Only outside of work, only at appropriate times. It's legal in Massachusetts. Don't come for me. But anyways, so I did use ChatGPT to help outline that, but I had this whole thing lined up about getting ready for summer and talking about certain things, and I will touch on those things, but I did think of a couple new things. Yesterday was my boyfriend's birthday. He turned 26. I know, woo, shout out. Speaking of an old person, I'm not so old now, am I? But I only a young, fertile 25. But it was fun, and we did get dinner with his sister and her husband a couple nights ago at the Waverly in Charlestown, which is really good. I don't know if anyone's never been there and looking for a good place to go. Great restaurant. That was fun. And then I had to work Friday, and he did too. And then I worked yesterday on his birthday, and he didn't, because it's like, why the fuck would you work on your birthday if you don't have to? You know what I'm saying? But the weather was kind of bad, classic New England. It's going to rain every fucking weekend until we're all dead. But I will say, I do love living in New England. I love the seasons here. I don't mind the rain. I don't want it every day, but I don't mind it. And it does kind of come with living in a temperate rainforest, but people do tend to forget about that. But when I got out of work yesterday, I had already decorated the apartment when my boyfriend went to the gym a couple days ago because I had to hang up go shoddy, it's your birthday banner. So when you walk in the apartment, that's the first thing you see, and the happy birthday balloons over our Harry Styles poster, because it's almost a little bit of a gift to him to let it be covered for a few days. And I know Harry loves being part of the celebration. And I blew up about a million balloons, even though I have really bad asthma. Came home the other day and he was like, what the fuck? Because he came home from the gym, was like, oh my god, this looks so good, you're crazy, you didn't need to do this. Then he's like, stop blowing up balloons, I thought you weren't supposed to do that. And I'm like so red in the face, like lightheaded, like, I know, but I had to get to 26. And I actually exceeded that, because once he made me stop, and then I started doing it again later once he was doing cooking dinner and like I'm not paying attention to me. I did blow up more than 26, so it was definitely worth it. They look great, but I have, so little background about me. I have 3 siblings. I have a brother he's the oldest, an older sister, and a younger sister. And we're all pretty much like 2 years apart. In school, not that any of us are in school anymore, although Tara's going back to get, I don't fucking know, a PhD or a master's or something, I don't remember. She just told me. But Tara and Allie came over last night. Tara's my younger sister, Allie's my older sister, and we're all really close. They came over for Joe's birthday because we were like, we're just going to hang out and drink, and Joe's Joe's best friend's coming over tonight. And, and like, you guys should come over. And Tara's met Brandon, Joe's best friend, a few times, but Allie had never met him. And it was just fun. Like, we just hung out, nothing crazy. And it was fun. It was just a good time. Yeah, nothing, like, we were like, we have too much cake. And yeah, shout out, actually really, really good shout out is to the Whole Foods in, just like any Whole Foods bakery. They have really delicious cakes there. If you guys have never gotten them, definitely try a slice. I love cake. I love desserts. And we had a cake and we were like, there's going to be not enough people to eat this. So that's why I told them all to come over. And we were chilling. It was a good time. But it kind of leads me into the next thing, though, because this is something that's come up a few times, and people like to fight with me on it, but I don't know. So I love people of all different hair colors. No hate, but there's something about a man who obviously was a towhead when he was a little kid, who grows up and he has such blonde hair naturally. As an adult, it almost looks like he dyes his hair. It's like, I can't trust you, But it's like, I'm obviously kidding, but it is just like, I always joke around and say that because my boyfriend's best friend is blonde like that. But it is kind of like, I just don't believe you that you don't dye your hair. It's too naturally blonde. It's beautiful. Why did God bless you with that? And not some of my other friends who spend hundreds of dollars to dye their hair every month, It's insane. Men get it all. And then speaking of that, my boyfriend has the longest eyelashes in the world. When we started dating, I was like, I have pretty good eyelashes, but you're making me be like, I can never be around you without mascara. Obviously kidding, but I did think that. They're stunning, gorgeous. And they have a natural curl. They're beautiful. I'm like, let me put mascara on them, but we've been together for 4.5 years and he still won't let me, so I guess you can see where our relationship's headed. So I guess because we were drinking here last night and having a good time, I will hold a moment of silence for the rug that we had set up in our living room area that someone, I'm not going to say who, spilled or potentially threw up fruit punch all over it, and it was stained. And no matter how hard they scrubbed, they could not get it out. So I have this little shag bath mat under the coffee table to keep the table from scratching the floor. But let's just take a quick moment of silence for her. Thank you. I still have to get another rug. But so for Joe's birthday, every year I love to go all out for Joe's birthday, and he's always like, don't spend so much money on me, don't get me all stuff. But it's like, I love birthdays, I love Joe, I love making him feel special, I love making my loved ones feel special, and I love to go crazy for Joe's birthday. It's like, literally, I always say it's my favorite day of the year. And like, I have a winter birthday, which is like good in its own right, but like summer birthdays are obviously better, and I can live vicariously through him with this. But he was telling me for weeks, for months, do not get me anything for my birthday. Do not get me anything for my birthday. So naturally, I got him a bunch of stuff for his birthday. So I got him, sorry if you could hear me cracking my knuckles, but so one of his Xbox controllers, like, if you've ever like had a console, you probably had this happen to a controller or a nunchuck or something, like on the Wii or something. But one of the I guess like joysticks, you would say, like the one that it's not physically stuck to make the character always want to move forward, but for some reason you cannot get the character to stand still, or it's very difficult to do so. And there's certain games, like we've been playing this game It Takes Two on the Xbox together, and we've also been taking turns playing Jedi Survivor, because I finally was like, we gotta get this on the Xbox. We do love Star Wars over here in this house. Joe actually just bought Battlefront 2 yesterday too. He's like, fuck it, we need it all. I'm like, you know what, girl? Treat yourself for your birthday. I don't disagree. But the game It Takes Two is really fun, but you need two people to play it, and like, if someone's running off the edge and they need to be standing still, you can't fucking do anything in the game. So it's like really fucking annoying. But it wasn't really an issue before, because unless like Joe's best friend was coming over and they were gonna like play like NHL or I don't know, something, the only other game he really plays, because he doesn't game like that often, like just like, I don't know, maybe like a couple times a week, he'll play like Fortnite or something and like with his friends on their headsets and shit. But obviously that's a one-player game, so it's not like we can play together, and it's not like I got another Xbox so I can go into the bedroom on that TV and play in there. Like, and not that I want to. If I really wanted to play, we could take turns, or I'll play when he's not here. Like, but I don't. It's not that serious. So this issue with the controller hasn't really been an issue too recently when I got all these games. But so I bought him this like limited edition. It's this really pretty blue, like clear Xbox controller, and that was a good gift. And then I got this. Well, I absolutely love the Bald and the Beautiful podcast. Absolutely love it. I listen to it when I'm smoking weed. Listen to it when I'm doing my makeup. Listen to it when I'm walking. Listen to it when I'm driving to work. Everything. And oh, also Trixie's coming to Boston for Pride, and I've never really done anything for Pride. I have a lot of gay friends. I love gay people. I'm not like, I don't want to be seen there. It's just like, I've been working usually on the weekend that the Boston Pride happens, and then just like doesn't work. And then there's graduations and stuff. I've never done really anything for it. But I'm going with a couple of my friends, and we're gonna see like Trixie and Kim Petras and shit at the end of the month. And it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a good time. And I'm really excited. But yeah, so that's one of my things I'm looking forward to coming up. I feel like I've been trying to just like do things, live my life, and like just like have fun. It's been something I've really been trying to do this year. I know it sounds crazy, but have fun. Me and Joe are trying to be healthy, trying to be skinny for the summer every fucking year. It's just like you can't, every year, it's a cycle. It's like you can never get fucking skinny enough for the summer. It's crazy. But no matter how hard you try. But just me. And then, but on their podcast a couple weeks ago, they were like showing like a sponsor for Buffy or something, and they were talking about like cooling sheets. And I know the stereotype is that the man is the hot one when they're sleeping. I get so fucking hot when I'm sleeping, like I'm burning up. And I need to be comfortable when I'm sleeping. I need to be cool. I need to be cold. Like in the winter, we are sleeping like heat off, window open, because the apartment gets so hot, which is nice, but because like heat rises from below or whatever. But like sometimes it's just too damn hot, and I don't like that. And in the summer, obviously, I need to be cold. I don't like being sweaty when I'm sleeping. I need my beauty sleep. And so I bought these sheets. They were like, I want to say they're like $150. But there was like a Memorial Day weekend sale, and I had the code bald or whatever. And they're made out of eucalyptus. I don't know what the thread count is for anyone fucking ask me, because I've already been asked like 10 times. They're super soft. And when I got it for Joe, or when I first gave it to Joe, it was on Thursday. His birthday was Saturday. And he had gone to the gym. That's when I decorated the apartment. And then I was doing a bunch of laundry, and I was changing the sheets anyways. So I put the new sheets on the bed, and then I was like, I'm giving you one early gift. It is unwrapped. And then obviously he didn't notice it at first, because it's not, I didn't get one of the comforters there, although people do say they're really nice. But I just got sheets to try them out. And Joe was like, I feel like this is more a gift for you than me. And I'm like, well, it's really for us, but I think you're going to enjoy it too when I'm not waking you up because I'm like drenched in sweat. And he was like, okay, like, I guess I'll see. And So we slept on it one, and then he's like, I don't know if this was worth it. Like, that sounds expensive. And I'm like, sometimes, it's like, it has to be. And like, you spend so much of your life sleeping, we need to prioritize our sleep health. And he was like, all right, all right. So, next morning, he's waking up for work at like 5. I don't have to wake up till 6. But he always sits on the edge of the bed and puts like his socks and stuff on, and then he'll be like, kiss me and be like, love you, bye. Some mornings, if he has a lot of energy, he'll try to talk to me, and like, if I have that energy, I will. But sometimes I'm like, girl, I'm not even awake. You got to stop. I literally, like, when you're half awake and like someone's talking to you, you can hear them, but like, it's not even that you don't understand what they're saying. It just like isn't even sticking in your brain long enough for you to absorb it. That's how I feel like when I'm half asleep, someone's waking me up like that, talking to me. I just get way too confused. Sorry, I keep leaning away from the mic, so hopefully this is loud enough. But he was like, he's sitting on the edge of bed, and he's like, bye, I love you. And then he goes, you know what? Those sheets were worth it. After the first night, and it was so true. And like, I feel like recently now it's getting hotter. Like, we've been like not like snuggling, I guess, most of the night like we would like if it was cold, because obviously we're hot, and because I'm 1,000 degrees, and but I feel like we have been ever since we got these sheets on the bed, and the temperature hasn't really been different than what it was like the days prior. They're really nice and they're really soft. I love them. And I maybe we'll get another pair. Maybe I'll look into getting the comforter in the future. I don't know. It's only been a couple days, so. But I also got this like, okay, I know I was shopping for Joe's birthday, but I love shopping. I love buying things. I just like, I love that dopamine hit. I know it sounds horrible, but it's true. I love buying things, and I can't help myself. But I do have a lot of upper back and neck problems. I guess quick backstory. When I was in high school, like maybe like just shy of like 2 months after I got my license as a junior, and I was like a tweaker. I'm like checking like a psycho to make sure there's enough room, and trying to merge on a Route 1, and this guy, I'm like, okay, that's definitely a football field's distance, whatever. And he had like a repair truck or whatever. And then I go and I'm looking at my car. I'm like, okay, I got up to speed. And then I look, and I just like had this weird feeling. I like low-key do think I know this is gonna sound crazy, but I do sometimes think I'm psychic, because I do sometimes like have premonitions for things, but could just be me like using my senses and not picking up on that part. But I like had a horrible feeling in my stomach. I look up in the rearview mirror, and the guy was right behind me, and then he hit my car so hard, and it was like the loudest noise ever. It was awful. Car was totaled. I had a serious concussion. I had symptoms from it for like a year and a half. Honestly, I think I have long-term symptoms, like some shorter-term memory things and stuff, that I didn't have before, It totally knocked like French and math out of my brain. That was really hard to get back, but when I was on night shift, all I was doing was like smoking weed and working and like eating, and maybe occasionally hanging out with friends if I wasn't passing out after work. I started doing Duolingo. It's worth it to pay for it, because for me it's like what is it, like $70 a year or something, and like I'm gonna spend that money on some stupid ass shit like at the dispensary or something. Anyways, and it's for an entire year, and it's like I know myself, and it's like, yeah, I might do it with the ads, but I know for sure I'm going to keep it up longer if I don't have ads. So that's why I pay for it. And I'm in over 700 days now. I saw this girl online, probably a couple years ago, I don't remember, that said that she was like, sometimes I remember I have free will, and then I got myself a cake when I hit like my 2 years, my 700 whatever day streak on Duolingo. Wait, no. Sorry for the moment of silence. I was trying to do the math in my head because I thought it wasn't right, but I think it is. I'm not sure. And so anyways, like since that, and I'd gotten whiplash before that because someone had rear-ended my mom when I was younger, and then my back, and I'm a little bit, as they would say, maybe more well endowed. So, and I work as a nurse, so I'm walking around all the time. My back's fucked up, long story short. But I got this neck support pillow that's supposed to like keep your spine and upper back aligned when you're sleeping. And like, I'm not even kidding, the first night sleeping on these cooling sheets and sleeping with this pillow, I woke up in the morning and I literally was like comatose. I could barely wake up for work because I was like, I was in such a deep sleep. But it's like the way you lay on it, it supports your whole upper back and neck, and like, but like only part of your head goes on the pillow. But I will say, and I know it's gonna sound crazy, it's gonna sound like I'm falling for placebo effect and everything, but my back always kills, period, and it especially will kill from work. It's my lower back will hurt more from work because I'm standing for so long, because I do 12 and a half hour shifts, and I work 2 days in a row, so like And then my upper back always hurts, my neck's always messed up and everything. But I swear to God, even though I'm still having back pain after working 2 days, like, it is so significantly diminished compared to what it would have been if not for sleeping on that. I'm like, maybe I just got a lucky 2 days, but I'm hoping that this is like continuing to be a positive trend. I might get it from my dad for Father's Day unless we're doing like a group gift. Also, guys, pro about having a lot of siblings, group gifts. And then it's like you can get your parents nicer things, and then they'll like leave you alone and stop being like, we do too much for you kids. No, I'm just kidding. But anyways, so yeah, I got the sheets for Joe. I got the Xbox controller. I got the pillow for myself. I got him a frame, and I ordered. We just went on this trip. We went to a wedding in Mexico in April, and I ordered a bunch of pictures from that, and like just from the last like 6 months or so. I do love. One of my friends a couple of weeks ago was like, my best friend was like, yeah, well, I don't know why we were talking about. Okay, I think I was showing her the Polaroids I took when we were in Mexico, and up until Joe got me a Polaroid last year. My mom actually got me a Polaroid printer too, which I love. Which thank God, because I like to scrapbook. Because when I brought my Polaroid camera to Mexico, when we went to the wedding on the beach, or the first wedding on the beach, but the second like event, I'll have to talk about Mexico later. I got to keep telling the story. I'm gonna get too sidetracked. But my camera got fucked up because too much sand got in there, so it hasn't been working. And Joe said he's gonna get the screwdriver to fix it, but I mean I could do it, but sometimes it's nice to have someone do things for you, you know? And it's like my hero. I just, it's so nice when he does it for me. It makes it all the more sweeter. And he said he would. I'm sure he will, but he just hasn't fixed it yet. But my friend was saying something like, I mean, like, I don't know what we were talking about. She said something, oh yeah, well, you love photography. And I don't really think of myself like that because I did, like, I do have cameras and stuff now, but like, I never had a camera when I was younger. I did want one, but I never had one. I wasn't like, like I had like a Visco and shit. Like I wasn't like not online, but it wasn't like a super artsy anything at all. It was like pretty standard. Like it was not anything crazy. As far as in the photography skill department. And I was like, I don't know. She was like, well, you love taking photos, you love printing pictures, you love making scrapbooks. I do love crafting and stuff, so it's like all kind of in the same wheelhouse. And I was like, yeah, girl, you know what? I guess you're right. I guess you are right. I just never thought of it that way. But I got all those just haven't come in yet. They're supposed to come in, I think tomorrow. I was going to say today, but I think it's tomorrow. So can't wait for that. I got Joe a shirt, and I also got him, he's been rocking the beard lately, although he did say he might shave it into the mustache, and ladies, you know what that means. Dude, I don't know. Women love the mustache. If you're not sure why, talk to a woman in your life. He might shave the beard into a mustache again. He used to have that during the pandemic time because at school they weren't allowed to have. He went to Mass Maritime. They weren't allowed to have facial hair, but because they wore the masks, they could have mustaches. And because his actually grows in good, it looks good on him. But he's been rocking the beard lately. But you know, he's been getting fit. He's been looking good. His beard's actually been looking really good. But I got him like a beard conditioner, shampoo, and like an oil. Just so he can have it. Even if he shaves it into the mustache soon, he can use it on there, and I'm sure he'll grow the beard back at some point. I mean, he's a fucking Bruins fan. But anyways, and who the hell wants to shave their face every day? But then the other thing I got Joe, then I wanted to get a massage or a facial gift card, but then he doesn't love like strangers touching him, and I don't blame him. But I did make him get a massage with me in Mexico, and it was so awesome. I've never been to an all-inclusive resort before. It was because my parents had a million children, so we would go camping, which I love camping. No tea, no shade, you know. Shout out Sebago Lake State Park. Love growing up going there, but multi-generational campers in my family. But I mean, when you're over 21 and you're going on an all-inclusive resort, it's like, holy shit, this is fucking awesome. I can't believe you haven't done this before. All drinks included. Some of the food, definitely better than others. Some of it was definitely low-key institutionalized, but overall, like, there's an amazing Argentinian place. I literally just said I wasn't going to talk about Mexico right now, but it'll come up. I'll talk about it forever. Last thing I got, well, when we went to Mexico, obviously, like, some of these places had dress codes, and it's going to be hot there. And so it's like I'm not a man, but I think khakis are, like, going to be a little bit hotter to wear than a pair of, like, linen pants. So Joe was like, I don't need any clothes for the trip. And it's like, girl, I know that you are good with money and you're trying to save, but sometimes we do need to buy ourselves things, especially, like, if you don't have enough bathing suits when you're going on a trip for a week, like, it's okay sometimes to spend the money on yourself to get like a good quality. Like, I got some bathing suits from at like Macy's, like Calvin Klein and stuff that were really nice and they're cute. And he liked them a lot because it was like he would tell me no if I told him I was going or if he was with me, but unless he really loves something. But if he's in like a stressed out about money mood because he's loves to stress himself out about nothing, I think all men do to stay productive. I don't know, and but I had met my mom at the mall, and then she went back to work. So it was on her lunch break on a day I was working. I wasn't working, and Joe was working. And I went to get myself something in the mall, and then I went in to get Joe a couple bathing suits and like shorts and shit because I knew he needed them for the trip. And then you know what? He was fucking happy, and he was like, "Good thing you literally got all my outfits together for the whole trip." I'm like, "I know," and we're both super ADHD. We both are super procrastinators. So it's like to pack for that trip, which I'm going to Charleston for my best friends and I. It's Tinfinity. Our 10 years of being best friends because we met at camp 10 years ago this summer in July to Charleston. It was going to be so fun. I've never been there. I'm super fucking excited. If anyone has any recommendations for a place to go or what to do there, let me know. I'm definitely open to hearing about things. It's really going to be a great time. I'm excited. Because my friend Sarah, she lives in San Francisco, so we don't get to see her as much. And she's coming. And then my best friend Janie, she's coming too. She still lives in the area, but obviously we work full time and everything. And it's like, well, yeah, let's take this excuse to go on a girls' trip. It's going to be a great time. I'm really excited. I don't usually go on trips like this. Like, this is really out of the ordinary for me. So this is kind of big year, I guess. But I'm going to have to do the same thing for that trip that I did for Mexico, which was just like me and Joe were working, obviously, like many of the days leading up to the trip. So in our like we have an open concept in our apartment between the kitchen and the living room, like I'm sure many of you do. And like there's an area between like the kitchen, there's like an island bar counter thing there. And then there's like a little space where I have like my record player and like there's some open space in the room. And then before you get to the couch and the TV and everything. And so I laid our suitcases out there and then I put clothes in it because it was like April. So it's like I knew I wasn't going to wear my bathing suits. It was too cold. And like I knew I was gonna wear certain things, well, like certain dresses, like the it was also an Indian wedding, so like that dress I knew I wasn't gonna wear before the wedding, duh, and I knew it fit me. Obviously, trying it on, different story, but things that I knew I wasn't gonna wear or could be packed before we left, I started packing it for myself and Joe because we've before anyone gets on my ass about like, oh, why do you do your boyfriend's laundry? I'm no simp. Actually, I might be, but I'm not weak because I do my boyfriend's laundry. It's not like that. I do 3/12s a week. He does 4. I'm off an extra day of the week. So because of that, I like to be in a clean apartment. It literally gives me anxiety. I like got this demon from my mother. Like I think the demon that possesses my mother to clean my house is possessing me now with my apartment. Where it's like if things just aren't in place, I feel like I can't rest. Especially I used to get the worst anxiety. Shout out Prozac. Also shout out when I get that burst of energy in the morning of like anxiety or like whatever. I'll just like do the dishes, unload the wash like the dryer, do some laundry, vacuum a little bit, like wipe the counters down, like just little things that may need to be done, and then that anxiety significantly goes down. That's actually a huge hangover hack. That smoking weed, a cold, ideally a big gulp Coca-Cola from like Cumbies, but just a cold Coke. And like Diet Coke, obviously if you're dieting, you're diabetic, whatever, but sometimes you need that sugar in the morning, especially if you've been puking the night before, which I think we've all been there. But it helped out a lot, especially because Joe had to work the day before we left. So like I was making sure everything was packed, and then like it was way less stress for, as far as packing goes. And but the reason I'm doing his laundry is because we have a walk-in closet and the washer and dryer's in there. Thank God. It's right between the bathroom and the bedroom. And so we just both throw our dirty clothes in there instead of having like, I don't know, dirty underwear on the floor. And then there's a lot of communal things in here, which I don't know, I think people forget about, like kitchen towels, bathroom towels, like shower towels, that stuff, like rags and stuff that is both of ours and we're both using. We just wash everything together. But I may end up doing more laundry because I work a day less. Like, it's chill before people try to come for us. It's not that serious. But because I knew what clothes Joe needed and didn't need, and everything else, you're like, oh my God, I can't believe this is what we were still talking about. I knew that he needed like white linen shorts and white linen pants and things like that. And what many men may not know, if they're not used to the world of wearing light colored bottoms, is that if you wear dark underwear or like neon underwear under white shorts, you're gonna see it. And so, but obviously, like, you might not think about, like, if you like, I don't know, I like to have fun underwear. Like, not all my underwear is like neutrals, but you might not think about like even having them if you don't have anything that they would ever be visible through. So then sometimes I feel like every summer, it's not every summer, but you know what I'm saying. Like every couple of summers, it's like, oh my god, I do not have as much white and nude underwear as I thought I did. Like I got to get more, and so it's like as a man who doesn't have any of that, like Joe, he's not going to think of it. And when he was packing his suitcase, he's packing all dark underwear. I literally think there was a pair of like. It was like, I don't know what it was. It was like holiday themed underwear that he just threw in there to have an extra pair, which was good because we had heat stroke and had to stay an extra day. And I literally was like, bro, try the fucking white shorts on with these underwear. And I swear to God, if I see the jack-o'-lanterns through there, I'm going to kill you. No, I don't know if it was Halloween underwear, but it was like something like that. It was just funny. But when he went to Mass Maritime, it's like honestly kind of pervy and creepy that they even did this, but they used to make them wear like these white, like grandpa, like World War II underwear. And when we first started dating, if I like stayed with him at school or something, or like you want to wear your boyfriend's clothes, you know, I'm like allegedly stayed with him at school because they're not allowed to do that at Mass Maritime, and I did not fucking go there. Allegedly. He gave them to me were his pajama shorts. They look like bloomers, but I haven't even worn them in forever. I think when I moved into the apartment with him like 6 months ago or whatever, not 8 months ago, I just happened to have them, and so I just like threw them in because I was like, oh, maybe Joe wants these because I don't wear them. I have pajamas, like it's shit, like I'm not wearing these. I don't even know if they're gonna fit over my childbearing hips anymore. And Joe had like one other pair of like underwear that was like a light like color like that, but I knew those were all white, so I grabbed those and I put them in his suitcase. And then when he was checking everything when he got home from work, he was like, Julie, I don't want to bring these. Like, why would you put these in my bag? And I was like, just trust me, because this was before the try on with the other underwear. And that's why you need a woman in your life. But going with that story, I knew Joe needed new white underwear and he needed more pairs of that. So I went to MeUndies, which I've never owned any of them, but they had a huge sale at the time, so I definitely got some underwear for myself too, taking advantage of those discounts. You can always use more underwear, and especially after you and your boyfriend get food poisoning within a couple months of one another. No comment. That was horrible. I'm like, we are way too close. He was like, he's in the bathroom and he's like, do you want me to stay home from work, as I'm like throwing up and shitting myself at the same time? And I was like, I looked at him and I was like, listen, I actually don't want you to fucking be here right now. Like, this is like a private moment. I'd rather die here alone than have you see me shit my pants again. So yeah, we're getting married, or I'm gonna have to kill him. But I ordered Joe some stuff. Like, I ordered him some new underwear, and like, I know he prefers a boxer over brief. This is like, he's gonna kill me for even saying this, but it's like every guy prefers different things. Girls prefer different things too. You know, I prefer different underwear to my friends. You know, and I know he doesn't have any of those underwear that have like the ball catch, so I got a couple pairs of that. And when he opened them, he was like, oh my God. Because he was like, what is wrong with you? Because he's just like, he's so immature. He's just like laughing. And I was like, people say that they're supposed to be good. So I was like, you should try them and just like let me know if you like them. Maybe it'll be like a new thing. I don't know. If you don't try a sling, you're never going to know if you like it. And I'm not a man. I don't know. But I feel like I would imagine it'd be nice to have my sweaty balls off me for a little bit during the summer. Sorry, I definitely have a little bit of a foul mouth. So if that bothers people, that's going to have to be your own problem. But I also, on top of the underwear that I got Joe, that was like more realistic, because he told me not to get him anything, so I had to get more realistic things that I knew he needed and or would use that would benefit us, that were more, maybe not necessities, but could be factored into that, I guess. I don't know if I even said that right, but I got him this pair of they're like trunks, which are kind of like short underwear, and so I don't think he's gonna like how short they are, but I'm pretty sure you can't return underwear, so I'm like, you're gonna have to wear them, babe, sorry. Save them for laundry day. But they're like these black trunks they're like not not lace. They're definitely not lace. They're like maybe mesh and they're palm tree, like palm leaf pattern kind of. They're really cute and they're sexy. And he was like, he opened them and he's like, oh my God, and he's laughing. And he was like, I'm going to show Brandon these when he comes over. He's like, and I'm going to be like, would you wear these? Like, he's like, I feel like straight guys don't wear these, whatever. And I'm like, is it gay to wear lingerie? And I'm like, do you think I'm gay? I love lingerie. I have so many sets of lingerie. Like, what do you think I'm gay? Not that there's anything wrong with being gay, but obviously we're saying in the context of he's a straight man and he's saying this is something that's more fashionable for gay men. I'm not really into this because I'm a straight man. But my argument is this. I said, look at this pattern. If I came in here in a bra and underwear that was this pattern, kind of see-through, you'd be like, ooh, damn, girl, like, you're so sexy. I am a woman. I'm attracted to you. Do you not think that if you walk in, I'm not saying like wear them to work, but like if you can't, if we were like gonna like do it or whatever and you had them on, I'd be like, ruff, ruff, ruff. Like, I'd start meowing, you know? I'd start barking and meowing. Like, people would be like, are there animals in that apartment? But our landlords would be like, hey, you guys aren't paying the extra $150 a month for have a cat and dog there. But my opinion is men's lingerie is not gay. I'm going to be a mogul and an advocate for this because men deserve to feel sexy too. Like, this whole thing, it's like men don't lotion their face, men don't this, men don't that. It's just like, why don't we encourage them to? Like, you should be taking care of yourself, you know? Like, yeah, maybe when I'm getting like my armpits and stuff waxed every month or every 3 weeks, like maybe it is a little expensive, but I was trying to explain to Joe, this is a new thing I've been doing, and like I've always shaved, but I have used Nair before. Moment of silence for anyone that's burned themselves with Nair. But it's like my skin is so sensitive, and like I've been waxing for a few months because I wanted to like not have to worry about it and get like razor burn or anything when I was in Mexico, because we're gonna be in the ocean, swimming and everything else, and you know, we'd be taking a lot of pictures, and I just didn't want to feel like insecure about anything, especially like not my armpits or like my bikini line. This sounds literally like an ad, but my friend from work recommended me this girl, Bare by Tal in Saugus. Talia, she's awesome, definitely awesome. If you're trying to see someone for that, she's a great person to go see. She's awesome, so nice, and does a great job. It's been awesome. I just shaved my legs because like who gives a shit, but like for everything else, it's definitely worth it. And it's been something I've been, and it's like maybe I'll get laser one day. I don't know. I just feel like it's gonna hurt, and I'm kind of a baby. And I know you're saying, well, you're doing waxing. Waxing hurts, and yeah, waxing hurts with my eyebrows really bad, and it does hurt. I'm not gonna lie and say it doesn't hurt down there or hurt in your armpits. It does, but it definitely gets better every time. Because the hair like gets sparser or something. But Joe was scared the other day. He screamed because I lifted my arms up and I had armpit hair, which I've never, no shade to people that don't shave or anything like that. That's, you go, girl, or whatever. Like, I don't give a fuck. But I'm just not one of those people. Like, I always shave. I just like to have no hair. I like to be smooth on my armpits and my legs. Like, other things I don't know. I can't get into this. But, it's like, I just like I don't want to have like it's just not like my look to have armpit hair. But it also isn't like itchy like it is if it's growing in after the wax because it's so much thinner. But it's definitely worth it. I just gotta say, it's definitely worth it. Like, what, you can't have sex for a day. You just gotta be strong for one day. Come on, ladies. You can do this. Men, you can do this. And I don't know, this might be controversial, but for me, like, if a man wanted to do that, like, I don't really, like, do you, whatever. But, like, for me, if I was going to pick for a man, I would just say, like, just keep things trim. You know, keep things, I don't want to feel like, I don't know. Joe's literally going to be so mad. I'm a little bit more of an open book than he is. Okay, let me see. And I also, while we're still on here, I want to just talk for a second about my girl Taylor Swift. I want to say shout out Taylor, ride or die for like literally like 20 years now. I've been a fan of hers literally since we heard like our song and Teardrops on My Guitar on the radio. She's the GOAT. Mother, I fucking love that bitch. I always wish her all the best. And she got her fucking masters, dude. She deserved it. My first ever concert I went to was the Taylor Swift Speak Now concert in 2011 with my sisters, my mom, and some of our friends. And it was a dream. We had floor seats at Gillette, which like I've never had as good concert seats to this day in my life. And she ran by and she touched our hands, my left hand. My sisters and I were actually talking about this last night, and we were like, I haven't washed my hands since, even though it's been like 14 years. Obviously we have. I'm literally a germaphobe and a nurse, but I'm just so happy for her. She deserves it. The re-recording is awesome, but it's like, if she doesn't give me I'd Lie Taylor's version, I'm gonna fucking kill her. Kidding. But I'm gonna be sad. I'm really gonna be upset. That's been like my favorite Taylor Swift song of all time. And I love me a man with green eyes. Shout out Joe. Shout out Harry Styles. So I feel like I want to shout out some things I've been kind of obsessed with recently. Not really obsessed, just like things I kind of have been liking recently. I know I already mentioned a couple of them, but so Joe used to work on the ships. He's a merchant marine now. He can drive to his job. Thank God. I hated when he shipped out. But he used to get Apple Arcade because he'd be traveling so much he used to pay for it. And then he added me to his family, and because I'm baby. No, I'm just kidding. But then he canceled it a couple months ago, and I was like, dude, you know I play the games on there. And then he was like, fuck. And he's like, but then we went to Mexico. He's like, all right, fine, I'll re-download it because whatever. So I was like, okay, yay for the trip. But then I got him on this game, Sneaky Sasquatch. It is so fun. I know it's going to sound stupid. Just try the game. Stick with it. It is addictive. It's so fun. I can't wait for the new update. I can't wait for multiplayer so me and Joe can play together. The only thing I feel like that would be different is I kind of want my Sasquatch to be a girl. Like, I like men. I love men. I hate them, but I love them. But I want my Sasquatch to be a girl, so then me and Joe can be like the Yetis at Sunday River. Eddie the Yeti and Betty the Yeti, I think. Betty, yeah. I've also been watching AP Bio on Netflix. Love It's Always Sunny. Cannot wait for the new season. But it's just so funny. It's like, I just love shows that are like kind of chaotic, funny, and like almost like a little fucked in the head, but like they're good. Obviously, It's Always Sunny. Oh, I love Curb Your Enthusiasm. That's a little different, but in the same vein. Love Righteous Gemstones. I love Danny McBride. And yeah, there's just like been a lot of things I've been loving. Cannot wait for Lords Upcoming album. Have loved all the music that she's released so far. I love Manchild by Sabrina Carpenter. One Thing by Lola Young. There's a lot of good songs coming out recently. And I'm trying to think what else. If anyone wants anything talked about, any topics, if they want advice on something, if they want me to do anything like that, if they want to talk to me about anything or want me to shout anything out as something they're obsessed with lately, they want me to put out there, like, let me know. Message me. I do have an email, which is hfsf@gmail.com. Actually, might be hsfspod. I'll figure it out, but you could try both. If you have anything you want to email me, or if you know me personally, you could text me. Just tell me in person if you want me to mention anything. But I feel like that's pretty much it for today. I guess the only other thing I'd want to talk about really quick before I go is if you self-tan for the summer, or you want to like maybe look a little more toned, and so you put some tanner on. People at work keep asking me what I've been wearing because I've been coming into work tan. Because it's like, I like to do that to feel better about myself when I'm just like, you know what I mean? It's just like, because I feel like we all have like days where we just feel like, it's just not giving. You look in the mirror, you're like, it's not. And it's like, I don't want to put makeup on, or you know what I'm doing. It's just like, you need a little something. So maybe you get your hair cut, maybe you wax your eyebrows, maybe you put a little self-tan on, you get your nails done, all that fun stuff. But I do love the Jergens. I've used the fair to medium and the medium to dark, but I do get dark pretty quickly because I have a blank, legitimately white canvas to start with. And I also, my coworker Caitlin got me on the Bondi Sands, and she told me to use, she's like, we're pretty much the same color when we're pale. And I'm like, she is pretty pale, but I'm like, I don't know, like, people think that, but I'm paler than my ginger sister. You know, like, people underestimate the pale that I possess. And especially because I do use the Ariana Grande, like, neutral toned concealer, and like, it does match my skin, but I am also pretty cool toned. I may need someone to tell me what I actually am, that's more of an expert on that, but I digress. So I just feel like I just was scared to try the medium to dark because the bottle is dark brown. Like, I don't want to look offensive to anybody, but I did the fair to medium, and I looked really good. It was great. I will say I do love getting the spray tans at Suntan City, especially in like Stratham, New Hampshire. That's over kind of closer to where my parents live. But last year, I tripped I don't know what happened. I think I was trying to do like one of the sideways positions, and I just like kind of lost my balance, kind of locked my knees or whatever. And because boys or anyone who's never gotten one, you have to like face forward and have your hands one way and your arms one way and like lift your chin up and everything else. And then bend your knees and have your legs spread apart. And then you turn to the side and you like walk like an Egyptian move. And then you turn to the back and you have to have your hands turned sideways so it hits the sides of your hands, not your palms, so your palms don't end up brown. And then you do the other side, and then they like do it again. Obviously, you want to do the double leg spray, and you want to do extra dry so you don't get that shit on your car, and you want it to look excellent. Just a couple of spray tan tips, and you want to obviously put the lotion on your feet and your hands, your knees, and your elbows, everywhere else that is dry as fuck. Even if you don't think your elbows are dry, put the lotion on your elbows before you spray tan. But last year I tripped or whatever in the spray tan booth before we went to the Cape, and it wasn't anything dramatic. Like, it's not like I got injured, but my hands were literally like dark brown because they touched the sides. And there's this photo of me, and it just looks like, it's just so funny. And Joe was like, don't touch with your hands, like the whole time we were there. It was too funny. I want to go to the Cape again this year, but I know we're trying to save money. We want to go to Europe. Maybe we'll get engaged in Europe. Who knows? Stay tuned. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I have no idea. But we maybe want to go in the next like 6 months to a year. So it's like, I guess we can't go on every trip we want to. But we might do a staycation or just do one night or something. But we've been loving going to Falmouth every summer. So I hope we can do something to at least substitute it if we don't end up doing that. But that is all for today. I guess join me for next time. And definitely let me know if there's something you want me to talk about. Have a great day. Have a great summer. And I guess like stay faded. And tune in next week. Definitely tune in next week for another episode. And hopefully you guys like this. And if you don't, you can let me know, but like, don't be a dick about it. Or you know what? If you don't like it, come on the pod. That's what I'm going to end on. Come on the pod if you don't like this. All right, guys. Peace.